This is the second Sally and Retha Skype interview. We're doing it now because it's ME Awareness Week. It's been about a year since our last one, and it's been a bit of a roller coaster since then. Anyone that doesn't know me and Retha, Retha is the founder of MECFS Foundation South Africa. I said that right, didn't I?
Yes.
And I'm the founder of ME Foggy Dog. We've both got ME. That's how we built up I'd say you are a friend now, our friendship, but also the working partnership stuff, because we both work for the benefit of ME CFS patients. So we've both got ME, but at the moment, right today, we've both got other health issues going on. I've had suspected COVID-19 for the past 8 weeks, and I've got a lung infection. And Retha has had cancer since before Christmas. And I'll let Retha talk a bit about that now. So Retha, in terms of having ME and having cancer, what has surprised you in terms of how your ME affected body has dealt with cancer? If you'd like to give a little bit of information about your diagnosis and what's happening now.
Yes. I was diagnosed on the 5th of January this year with stadium 4, that's what they expect, stage 4 cancer. And my body has really surprised me the way that it has been able to cope with the cancer. I must say, after round of number 5 of chemo yesterday, I can feel the past few weeks, it hasn't been very easy. So obviously as the chemicals build up, the ME becomes a bit worse. But it actually has responded very well, and I've coped very well. I also think we're almost used to feeling ill. So it's not that big a surprise for our bodies. It's just a bit worse.
Yeah.
But yes, yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? They've always said that having chemo is a bit like you feel when you've got moderate or severe ME, just because of the way that your body's kind of fighting off poison, I guess, I suppose, is the easiest way to explain it.
Yes, there are a lot of symptoms that you have when you have chemo. It's the nausea, extreme fatigue, pain. You know, those are ME symptoms. And obviously, the more severe you are, the more you'll experience it on a severe basis. And I can feel now that after 5 sessions of chemo, it is really, my body is taking hammering. But I've got 1 session left, and then there will be decisions to be made about the road ahead.
Yeah, what we should make clear is that we chose to record this today because you had chemo yesterday, and you said your body kind of goes into a bit of a hyper overdrive mode the day after chemo. So tomorrow you wouldn't be up to this Skype call, which is why we're doing it today.
That's right, yes.
I'm very grateful for you talking to me.
Thank you for inviting.
That's all right. It's always a pleasure. Right, second question. Future plans for the foundation. What are they?
I must say, I think if ever I was passionate about ME, it's now even more. Because what I've seen, and I've started writing about it in the foundation Facebook page, that when the moment I got cancer, I had all the support in the world. The family started sending me wonderful messages. Everybody had these sympathies. Everybody was in tears. Before then, I've advocated for many years for ME. I never ever received that response, despite television programs, radio, the works. So I'm even more determined to make ME more known in South Africa. I'm very involved now again with the foundation in between the chemos, and it will only get more. I'll only be more involved. You know, I've taken back the reins in a way.
Yeah.
But I'm very grateful for people like Betty Hoog and Villa Tritter, Chantal Spies, my daughter, Karna Viviers, who have actually run it a bit for me. You've helped with Twitter at some stage. Without that, I wouldn't have been able to continue. But at the moment, we have a big drive for funds because in South Africa, there are no benefits for ME patients from the government. So already COVID or the current lockdown is causing so much poverty, and the ME patients are falling through the system because we are not on the disability list. So we really have to, apart from continuing with awareness, we have to get some funds so that we can help these people survive.
Yeah. And any ME patient that is struggling with their own personal health at the moment, the foundation is still very much open for business in terms of support.
Absolutely.
Good.
We yes, we are helping people getting their monthly medication where we can, or airtime so they go onto their phones, food, things like that. And on Sunday we had an interview, my husband and myself, with a journalist from a radio station in South Africa. She's doing a series on chronic illnesses, so that's our part of raising more awareness. It should air around about July. And we just post. Yesterday we posted a lot, but the whole month Betty Hoog is helping a lot. I know it's England's loss this year, but she's stuck in South Africa, and I'm so grateful for her. She's helping quite a lot. Yeah.
That's the thing with social media, though. It doesn't matter where you are, does it?
It doesn't.
It's a global reach. You just have to make sure that your voice is heard in as many different places as possible.
Exactly.
Okay, so the third question that I sent you beforehand to have a think about, in terms of COVID in South Africa, what is the current situation and how do you think that's going to impact the level of ME in your country?
At the moment, our figures are very low. We're standing around 11,400 positive tested cases, of which 4,000 or so have recovered. We've had just over 200 deaths. But
when you say recovered, do you mean they didn't die?
They didn't die. Yes.
So they may well be long-term sick, though. Yeah.
We don't know that. That's the thing. I expect an increase in ME for sure in South Africa. And I was extremely surprised yesterday. For the first time in history, the government, through coronavirus, through their network, actually paid tribute yesterday on the 12th of May for chronic illnesses such as immunological and neurological illnesses.
Oh, good.
And they mentioned MECFS for the very, very first time.
Oh, that's amazing.
The only downfall is that they recommend exercises. So I immediately messaged them, and we need to have a serious talk. They need to take that out. But it's a good start. It's a very good start. And it's very clear. It's neurological, immunological. It was so wonderful to see.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you saw this morning, but I've been banging on about the fact that if you've had COVID-19 and you get to like because I'm in the 8-week point now, but if you think, hang on, I'm not getting better, this is dragging on a really long time. In England, the UK, if you look at the NHS website, it recommends exercise, or at the very least increasing your activity so you don't decondition. So in the UK, obviously on social media, so it's rippling worldwide, but I've been saying since the 7th of March, do not do that. If you feel unwell, don't read something from a doctor that says you need to increase your activity, blah, 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 because they're worried about deconditioning. They don't know that much about MECFS because most of them haven't training. And there's this false belief that all you need to do is do mind over matter, increase your activity and get through it. That does not work with ME, which is why Retha and every other charity, advocacy group, patient that's got a confirmed diagnosis of ME or CFS, depending on where you are in the world, are worried. We're all worried that we're already saying up to 30 million people worldwide have it. Are we going to have to say an additional 2 million got ME CFS because of COVID? That's the worry. And what irritates me is on TV and radio, they're saying this many deaths. This links into what you were saying about cancer and the sympathy that you're having. There's this focus on, oh my God, you're going to die. Once you don't die, the sympathy ends. It's like, well, hang on, no, but I've been left with a chronic illness. I've now got half a life that I had pre-illness. Where's the sympathy then? So I've been kind of saying, don't just concentrate on the death numbers. You need to concentrate on how many people are still sick 2, 3, 4 months later. But anyway, so this morning I thought, I'm not going to push that preventative measure anymore because people just aren't listening.
No.
It's very much that it's not going to happen to me. I'm fit and healthy. Exercise is good for you. I'm absolutely fine. I've lost count of the amount of very fit and healthy people I've spoken to that have had ME for years, decades.
Yes.
So anyone that thinks they're fit and healthy and can't get ME simply does not know what they're talking about.
No. Now, I think COVID is giving us a wonderful opportunity to raise more awareness of how to be careful after such a virus.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, there will be more funding. I hope. Let's hope for that.
I am keeping my fingers crossed, but I keep seeing posts from the people that did the PACE trial saying, COVID-19, when you recover, you should go out and increase your exercise. This, that. Why can't they just admit they made a mistake?
Why
Admit
now
it.
portray
Move.
it onto COVID? Why?
They've already upset up to 30 million people worldwide. They're going to upset millions more by saying
Exactly.
you need to exercise.
Exactly.
And
that is the worst advice.
If you're getting up and down and going to the toilet, maybe you've got kids and you have to do a little bit of childcare during the day, even though you're not feeling very well. Surely that level of activity and moving around is making sure you're not deconditioning. So I don't know why they're saying, if you're well enough, go for a walk. But if you've got this psyche of, if I exercise, I'm going to get better, no pain, no gain. If you think, I really don't feel up to this, but walking will make me feel better, you're going to do it.
Exactly. We have somebody that we've paid tribute to yesterday during May Month Awareness on the 12th. She's had ME for 41 years. She's been in lockdown almost 15,000 days.
That's crazy.
And it happened because she was forced to exercise. Now, I've never seen somebody so positive, so strong-willed. It will not cure her.
No.
Yeah.
Isn't it? When you said 41 days, years, I just thought, oh, that's such a long time. But I've got
She got it when she was 16.
The rest of my life now. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But there are worse things than death.
Yeah.
And there are, people need to realize that. Quality of life is so important.
It's very important. And to be honest, death affects the people around you rather than you yourself, because you're no longer around to experience it. And
exactly.
that does not mean I'm diminishing dying in the slightest. But when you to live with a very reduced life for decades, that's kind of why we've got a worrying suicide rate, because they would rather commit suicide than live with MECFS any longer.
Exactly. I know somebody, she's a chemical engineer, 25, and she's had ME for, I think, 2 years. And she says she's more afraid of severe ME than death. And I can completely understand it. People need to understand how very serious ME is.
When COVID started, but before I got my own symptoms, I was posting about ME patients need to be incredibly careful because this is a risk to your current level of severity. You may well end up getting severe ME. And I was saying rest. And that's been the one thing at the forefront of my mind. Not that, oh my God, I'm going to end up in hospital on a ventilator, but how is my ME going to cope with this? And touch wood, my ME hasn't worsened yet.
Yes.
But who knows? The prognosis simply isn't there at the moment because it's too soon. ME scientists do not know how COVID-19 is going to react in an ME affected body. So
we just don't know.
Day by day.
You are almost an experiment in your own way now.
Yeah. All I know to do, and anyone with ME that's watching this that gets COVID or any other virus really, if you go on to antibiotics, remember to top up your gut bacteria. It's been tricky because I haven't been able to go out shopping and get things like yogurt and stuff. I started on yogurt yesterday and I've just ordered some probiotics from Amazon. So in a couple of days, I'll be topping that back up again. I haven't got any external symptoms like you would expect, like thrush or anything like that. But I just know that there's something not quite right in my stomach. And we know that our stomachs are affected by ME, our gut. So that would be my top tip. Anyone with ME that has... Oh, the other thing this is unofficial advice. It's not authenticated anywhere, but I've been talking to my medical friends and they all say keep up your vitamin D levels.
Yes.
And I have been pottering out into the garden for, like, even when I was in isolation away from my parents who I live with, they were staying in a separate room and I was going out to the garden just for like 5-10 minutes, just and like uncovering my arms just to get that vitamin D. But I was speaking to a medical professional last night who's a friend, and she said what she's been doing is taking very high doses of vitamin D for a short period of time. So maybe like 4 or 5 days, but like 1,000 mg or something, just for a short period of time, because your body just kind of needs that blast. That's what the medical professionals are telling me personally, but I have not seen that in any research or any recommended thing. That's what I'm doing.
I've read about it though, hey? It's actually on my to-do list to get a good dosage of vitamin D3. I can't go outside at the moment. We have a small balcony.
Yeah.
So it's not really in the sun, but can't do any harm to do the supplement.
Exactly. And the person I was talking to said over a longer period of time, it might cause you a few issues, but vitamin D is for bones, bone health, immune, I think. I can't remember the other things, but she said vitamin D, vitamin D, vitamin D. So that's what I will be doing. So hopefully I'll pick up, because I do at the moment my ME's kind of in the background, but COVID is the main thing. So I need to sort that out. And to be honest, vitamin D isn't going to hurt my ME. It might even make my ME slightly better. So that's
right. In South Africa, that's one of the first things they test is your vitamin D levels. The doctors that work with ME patients, and they supplement that.
I don't know if you know this. I kind of knew this, but my medical friend reiterated it last night. In the UK, our doctors have got a very low recommended vitamin D level. It's because of where we are in the world. We don't get much sunlight, and the range is quite low. And if you sit in that range, they say there's nothing wrong with your vitamin D level. In another country, so in South Africa, your level may well be much higher.
Much higher.
So when I go for tests and say to my GP, can you please test my vitamin D levels, it always comes back, you are within the range. But actually, if I was tested in America or in South Africa or wherever, would I be massively below that level? Probably.
Most likely. Likely.
So I think I'm going to
start. So
I'm going to blast my body with loads of vitamin D, and then I'm going to take a lower supplement longer term, I think, just to see if it makes any difference. Because the UK is a cloudy, murky country a lot of the time. And with my hair, I can't go out in the sunshine much. So it's a win-win.
I think you can't go wrong.
So that's the top tip to take away from this: vitamin D and probiotics for your gut, and get everything back to normal, or as normal as it can be if you've got ME.
Can be.
Fourth and last question: what are your thoughts in terms of? We've kind of covered it, COVID and ME. So you think, same as I do, that COVID is going to trigger MECFS. It's frustrating that we haven't got proof just because COVID's so new. But if SARS caused MECFS, then that's a coronavirus too. The chances that it's going to go and trigger is high.
It is. It's sad. I wish it upon nobody, but it's unfortunately, it might be the truth. The reality, And
I'll tell you what, it's just occurred to me this week on my radar. Have you heard of anti-vaxxers in South Africa? Yeah. I think people put ME advocates in the same bracket because we haven't got the proof of what we're saying. It's like, let's trust the doctors rather than the advocates. But actually, if you took the time to look into MECFS charities, there are a lot of doctors attached to that, and there are more and more medical professionals backing up what we're saying.
Exactly.
So anyone that puts us into the same frame as anti-vaxxers couldn't be more wrong.
No, for sure.
I mean, vaccines save lives, exercise harms lives. So
completely the different way around,
Yeah. Right, well, you're starting to struggle and my face has gone really hot. So I'm going to draw this to a close. Thank you so much, Retha. Take care of yourself.
Thank you, Sally. It was lovely talking to you again.
Yeah.
And I really hope your COVID will just improve and not get worse.
Hope so too. It just seems never ending at the moment. It does make me wonder, if I hadn't had ME, would it have triggered ME? Because I just feel so wiped out by it.
That's what I'm concerned about my family members. I already have one with ME. I don't need another.
No, but rest.
Yes.
Yeah, keep your feet up. Use the excuse to sit and watch Netflix. Do not go for a walk if you feel unwell.
Will not.
Right. Lots of love to you, Retha, and I will.
You too, Sally. Lovely talking to you, eh? Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.